Now, before we get to the top 5, I have some other awards I want to give away, starting with our honorable mentions category. And for this section, we have to bring up Barry Zito and Miguel Tejada, who turned a low-budget squad into giants. Because in 2002, the Oakland A's pulled off a 20-game win streak in baseball's toughest league. Now, they would eventually be bounced out of the playoffs by the Twins. But 20 games with the third lowest payroll? That's like winning the cook-off with ramen and hot sauce. And lastly, for our honorable mentions category, we have Jahangir Khan, who from 1981 to 1986 won a total of 555 consecutive matches over 5 years and 8 months. This streak included 5 world titles as well as remaining unbeaten in competitive play. This streak is considered one of the longest in all of sports history, showcasing the dominance often overlooked in less mainstream sports. Next up on the list, we have the most underrated, featuring one of my favorite sports, track and field. From 1977 to 1987, American track and field athlete Edwin Moses won 122 consecutive races in the 400-meter hurdles. This decade of dominance is cherried on top with 2 gold medals and 107 consecutive finals. Now, what makes this streak so impressive is the technical difficulty and physical demands involved with going over hurdles for 400 meters. It's hard enough to run a damn 400, let alone hop over hurdles while you're doing it. Another underrated streak that belongs in this category belongs to Martina Navratilova, who from 1983 to 1984 was out here doing Thanos-level damage on the tennis court. She managed 74 straight singles wins and 109 straight doubles wins, capped off with 6 Grand Slam titles. Why folks don't bring her name up the way that they do Federer or Serena is completely Greek to me. Now, while many streaks are celebrated for their sheer longevity or dominance, some are more hype than substance. For instance, in 2013, the Miami Heat managed to go on a 27-game winning streak. While the feat was impressive, it did occur on a stacked team, need I not say. The closest team to matching this streak, of course, are the 2015-2016 Warriors with 24 straight wins. Once again, stacked team. But speaking of basketball streaks, we'd be remiss for not tipping our hats to the true grinders. As much as we all love a flashy scoring run, what about them niggas that just kept showing up day in and day out? Take Mr. AC Green, for instance, the Iron Man himself, who from November 19th, 1986 to April 18, 2001 played a total of 1,192 consecutive games in a row. No excuses, no rest days, no load management. Now that's a streak that towers over any highlight reel, and it's a shame it doesn't get the shine it deserves. And speaking of overlooked, I bet Brett Favre wishes that mess in Mississippi stayed buried, but that's a story for a different video. For now, let's celebrate that from September 27th, 1992 to December 5th, 2010, he gutted out 297 straight regular season games. It's a beastly streak, especially for a sport that chews up bodies like popcorn. And finally, we'll end this category by sliding onto the ice with a legend that just couldn't be stopped from scoring. From October 1983 to February 1984, Wayne Gretzky put up at least 1 point in 51 straight games. This includes goals, assists, and whatever it took to break your defense's spirit. But because hockey doesn't get the same spotlight as other sports, this streak doesn't get talked about nearly enough. This streak ended with a grand total of 153 points, which included 61 goals and 92 assists. That's 3 straight goals a night, which is basically a triple-double in the NHL. And for our final category, we have the most controversial, because from 2003 to 2004, the New England Patriots, led by Mr. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, ripped off 21 straight wins. But hold your horses, because here's where things get spicy. In 2007, the Patriots were caught illegally videotaping the New York Jets defensive signals during a game, leading to the Spygate scandal. The NFL would later fine Coach Belichick $500,000 and the team $250,000, as well as stripping them of a first-round draft pick. It was later revealed that the Patriots had been recording opponent signals since the 2000s, overlapping this streak. Now, critics will argue that these illegal tactics may have given the Patriots an edge during this streak. However, there was never any hard proof found. Growing up, I hated watching the Patriots win all the time, but in college, I had a coach that had this saying, winners win and losers bitch. And I think that about sums up this streak. But now let's get to that top 5. In the world of professional wrestling, one name strikes fear into hearts of opponents and admiration in fans. The Undertaker. But before becoming this juggernaut, Mark Calloway was just a tall kid from Houston. Calloway's athletic journey began on the basketball court as a 6'10" center where he dominated the paint. But instead of the NBA, fate had other plans for young Mark. In 1984, at the tender age of 19, Calloway would step into the ring for the first time, where he would be in for a rude awakening. In 1987, he would lose his debut match as Texas Red to Bruiser Brody. This would lead him to the independent circuit, where there were a series of failed experiments such as the Commando, Mean Mark Callis, Dice Morgan, and many others. Then he met Vince McMahon, who took one look at the big guy and said, "Hey, let's put him in a mortician's outfit." And in November 1990, the legend of The Undertaker was born. And for 21 years, this phenomenon dominated WrestleMania, WWE's biggest event of the year. That's right, 21 wins, 0 losses. He was unstoppable, taking down legends like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and even his own brother Kane. Each year, the question wasn't if he'd win, but how. However, in 2014, Brock Lesnar did the unthinkable, pinning The Undertaker and ending the streak 21-1. The silence in the arena was deafening that night because it was the end of an era. But The Undertaker's 21-year streak remains one of the most impressive in sports entertainment history. Next up, as World War II loomed and America teetered on the edge of global conflict, one man proved to be a beacon of hope and consistency. That man was none other than Joe DiMaggio, and in the summer of 1941, for 56 consecutive games, the Yankee Clipper got at least one hit. DiMaggio's streak began May 15th against White Sox pitcher A.D. Smith and didn't end until July 17th. And during this time, he faced some of the best pitchers in baseball history, including Bob Feller, Hal Newhouser, Lefty Grove, and Ted Lyons. He batted a .408, smashed 15 home runs, and struck out a mere 7 times in 223 at-bats, as well as recording hits off of 43 different pitchers, driving 55 home runs, and scored 56 times, essentially becoming a one-man offensive machine for the New York Yankees. And even when the streak ended, he just started another one, hitting another 16 games straight, bringing the grand total to 72 out of 73 games with the hit. This record has stood for over 80 years, and many believe that it'll never be broken. And in a sport where failing 7 out of 10 times makes you great, this streak is an absolute anomaly. Now, if you thought winning one championship was hard, try winning 8 in a row. But that's exactly what the Boston Celtics did from 1959 to 1966, led by legends such as Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, and Tom Henderson. During this incredible run, the Celtics weren't just winning, they were redefining basketball, with Bill Russell's defense and rebounding skills changing the game. What makes this streak even more impressive is their level of competition. They had to beat out some legendary teams led by Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, and Elgin Baylor. The Celtics' 8-year reign is a record that stands not just in basketball, but across all major North American sports. It's a testament to teamwork, coaching, and sheer will to win. For number 2, on November 23, 2014, the UConn Huskies would begin a streak that would redefine dominance in women's college basketball. This 111-game winning streak included standout players including Breanna Stewart, Mariah Jefferson, and Kia Nurse. And under the leadership of Gino Auriemma, UConn achieved an unprecedented level of success. But here's the crazy part. This was actually a part 2 to a 90-game streak that ran from November 16, 2008 to December 30, 2010, which resulted in a pair of championships. Now, during the 111-game winning streak, UConn won 108 games by double digits, defeated 31 ranked teams, and won 61 games by at least 40 points, and secured 4 consecutive national titles during this run. The streak finally came to an end on March 31st, 2017, when Mississippi State shocked the basketball world with the last-second 66-64 overtime victory in the NCAA semifinals. But even in defeat, UConn had set a standard that may never be matched. And finally, number 1. Baseball can be a grueling sport. Lots of games, injuries, slumps, and exhaustion can take its toll. Most players miss games due to injury, fatigue, or minor setbacks. However, Cal Ripken Jr. wasn't like most players. He played through pain, bruises, and cold streaks and refused to sit out. Not for injuries, not for rest, not for anything. But as years went on, the pressure mounted and the baseball world would hold its breath as he closed in on Lou Gehrig's once thought unbreakable record of 2,130 consecutive games. However, on September 6, 1995, Ripken not only broke the record, he did it in style. When the game became official in the 5th inning, the crowd erupted in a standing ovation that lasted over 22 minutes. It was a moment in history nobody thought would happen. But every great streak has to come to an end. And in 1998, after 2,632 games, Ripken finally took himself out of the lineup. Fortunately, his legacy was already cemented, and to this day, no player has come close and probably never will.